The countdown is on to ring in the new year. It's almost time to say goodbye and good riddance to 2021. The big celebration is back in Times Square, but once again, the festivities will be more subdued because of COVID-19. Last year, a small crowd of frontline workers and special guests were allowed to watch the ball drop in person. The party went on at the crossroads of the world, but on a much smaller scale. This year, the crowds will be back in Times Square to watch the ball drop, but strict guidelines will be in place to keep everyone safe as they ring in 2022. Here with all the details is Regina Fojas. She's the Senior Vice President of the Times Square Alliance. Regina, thank you so much for your time, and I'm excited for you. This is one of the biggest nights of the year for the Alliance. How tough was the decision to scale back this year?
Thanks for having me. It took a lot of conversations between Mayor de Blasio's administration, our city agency partners, and the NYPD, and we really have to commend all of our city partners during this time in making the decision and taking the precautionary measures to ensure everyone's safety while being able to enjoy the ball drop and welcome in 2022.
We know that you have a lot of safety requirements in place this year. For our viewers at home, let's take a look at some of those. Full vaccinations required, a valid photo ID, masks will be required, social distancing. What other measures can you think of that'll be in place to help keep everyone there safe?
So at this point, no entry will be permitted by the NYPD until about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And then once all the revelers go through both a security check and a vaccine card and photo ID check, then they'll be escorted to the viewing areas. And as those fill up to, as you know, a scaled back capacity, then we'll see how fast it will take for the viewing areas to be filled.
We always know that the New Year's Eve Times Square crowds can get a little out of hand. I think this year you're trying to keep it to 15,000. How do you plan to control the crowds?
Sure. So I think having that time limit of that timed entry will help. I think that the NYPD is prepared to manage the flow of people, and they also know and have been told by city officials that it is scaled back and they have what they need to ensure people's safety within those viewing areas.
And talk to us one more time about how people will be checked. We know they have to show ID and their vaccination cards. Well, what's that process like for the people who have gained entry, one of the 15,000 chosen ones, as we'll say? What's their process to be checked?
So what will happen is similar to years past, pre-COVID, where revelers would line up and get their bags checked and make sure that they aren't carrying anything into the viewing areas that is not allowed by the NYPD. They will also go to a vaccine checker where they can either show a photo or a physical copy of their vaccine card or one of the accepted apps like the New York COVID Safe app or the Excelsior Pass, along with their photo ID. And once they get past those two steps, they're taken to the viewing area in time for the celebration to begin.
Now, what about people who try to gather outside of the official zone? We've seen in years past, you know, you have the pins sort of cordoning off everyone who's allowed inside, and then a lot of people come out and sort of gather outside those zones. How will those people be stopped? Will the police be there to sort of say, hey, you know, not this time? Okay.
Yeah, there's going to be ample police presence and support to ensure that there isn't any sort of crowding at the entry points.
All right, so talk to us about the fun stuff. What's new this year? What's the design of the ball?
Sure. So the design of the ball this year, the design of the crystal on the New Year's Eve ball shows or is representative of the gift of wisdom. And as you may know, Waterford Crystal, who is the sponsor for that, they have different themes for every year. And in addition to that, we do have some live acts that I can share. So we have KT Tunstall, Journey, and Carol G, who will be doing live performances. And for those who want to watch from the safety of their home, they're welcome to join our live webcast on tsq.org, and that will be hosted by Jonathan Bennett and Jeremy Hassel.
And what about you? What's your wish for the new year?
My wish is unity. I think that we're at a time in our city and in the world where we could use a little bit more of that.
Absolutely. Regina Fojas, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for everything you've done to get the city ready for this amazing celebration. We're all looking forward to tomorrow night. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and Happy New Year.
You too. And for more information about New Year's Eve festivities, go to our website, cbsnewyork.com.